Shall we start now? Is it okay?
Yes, we let's start lah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like usual, we have the proper bodhisattva's motivation, which is to become enlightened. So any Dhamma activity we do, we always have to engage in the bodhisattva's attitude or bodhicitta attitude. This and this morning or this evening, this session in particular is about the bodhicitta precepts and the bodhicitta aspirations. So once again, it's most important to think of practicing, learning about this, the bodhicitta, we learn about this so that we can study. We study about this so that we can practice. We practice this so that we can become enlightened for the sake of all sentient beings. So with this attitude, we will begin today's lessons. Yes. So when we practice like that, of course, when we say all sentient beings, everybody, like that, it's such a big number. You cannot pinpoint. You cannot finger, or this one. So it's like you're just talking in the air. You're just doesn't make much sense, right? So that's why when we first train, it's important to have one focal point, something to focus on. So bring one individual, maybe someone you dislike, maybe someone you kind of maybe for us to begin with, maybe someone we like is good. But because remember, now we have to remember that now we are practicing bodhicitta, so in that sense everybody is someone that we are close with, so there is no more differentiation between our friends and our enemies, because we are supposedly we have already trained on equanimity, and so we can see everybody as same, our enemies, our friends, our strangers, everybody we see as on the same level. So in this understanding, we have to pick one person in order to train our mind. Let's pick one person. It can be a stranger, it can be someone like that. So we pick that one person, and that person is now in front of you. And then as you breathe in and breathe out. That's the normal. That's how we survive in the world. We always breathe in and breathe out. So as you breathe in with the with the motivation, with the thinking that whatever negativities, whatever pain, whatever suffering, whatever death, whatever misery that the person in front of you is going through, you are taking all of them as you breathe in. Just like the breath comes in your body, all the negativity from that person comes to you. And then as you breathe out, imagine that all the positivity, all the happiness, all the joyfulness that you have is giving to them. So the exchange is not between something good and better, right? You give them something, you give them something, and then take something better from them. That's what we usually do when we do our exchange. Not like that. This time you give them the best, and then you take from them the worst. This is the exchange of the best and the worst. So that's what we train. As you breathe in, take in the positive negativity. As you breathe out, give back all the positivity. That's how we train. We start by training on one person first. So, for example, think of this like giving and taking, giving and taking, giving new clothes and taking old clothes. So that's something that we practice in real life also, right? Sometimes when we go to very poor people's area, and then give them clothes and food and like that. So for example, give them your clothes. Most of the time when we go to give them clothes, it's something that we have the clothes that we have used a couple times. Anyway, it's a better cloth, right? The better cloth we give to them. And whatever they're wearing, the beggars, they're wearing very bad, very torn out, worn out clothes, we take it from them, and then we give them the better cloth. So this is one example. So just like that, anything negative from they have, any pain, any wound they have, we take it from them. So this is something that can be practiced practically. Like if they have a pain, they have a wound. If they have a pain, we can talk about them, inner pain. We can talk to them, listen to them. Some people need company. We talk to them, give them company. Some people have wounds. Some people have pain, sickness. We try to alleviate their pain by giving them medicine, etc., like that. Or so just like that. It's the example given in the book is that it's like giving a new cloth to a beggar and then taking their old clothes back to us, like that. So that is something we practice. Give them the best and take their worst from them, and then take their worst and give our best to them. Take their worst from them, like that. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah. So this is something that we practice. As I said earlier, we imagine a person. We have to take one person, two person, maybe a group of people in front of us. Imagine, and then practice this with them. So the difference is if you say like all sentient beings, everybody like that, because everybody is such a large number. And when you say like 7 billion human beings, that's such a large number. You cannot grasp anything. So when you pick one person, two person, three person, someone you know or someone you know that makes it more practical. That brings it to makes it more practical. So you have to imagine a person in front of you and then practice this with them. That is your practice. So afterwards, after you practice for a certain time, then as your training process, training process on a daily basis. So let's say in the morning you practice like this every morning for half an hour or 20 minutes, like that. So in the daytime, after you finish your practice, you go out in the day, then you are maybe driving in the car or uh, doing something outside, and then you see some people very sick, or some people in very pain, some people struggling, like that. Then either physically or mentally, you give them your your joy. So whatever joy that you have, you give it to them, and then whatever pain they have, you take it from them. So remember, like this morning you practice with some imaginary people, but now you are on the real ground, and then you actually practice this on the real people. So you still, what you give, sometimes the things that they need you cannot give, because you are not a Buddha. You also have limitations, so you cannot give them what they need. So to them, you have to materialize things from a mentally. You can only visualize and give them what they need. Let's say someone is outside as a homeless person, doesn't have a home, and you also don't have uh, the the resources to provide home for that person. So what you can do is you can give them a home, visually provide a home for them, and imagine that they're living in that home. They have all the amenities, they have all the facilities, they're enjoying their home, and then because they now have a home already, now they are contributing to the society, they are doing good work, like that. So you can visualize that. So what happens here now is the person that you are the object is not imaginary, it's real. The person is really out there, it's in pain, it's in going through a lot of trouble, but the help that you are doing, right, is imaginary, it's vision, is visualization. So there's a combination of visualization and practicality here. So the person is out there for real. The help that you are giving is uh, if you can do, then you must do, right? Like if you can, someone is saying, I need food, then you can give some money to buy food for them, like that. That you can do. Let's say they want a house. Now you cannot give them a house in the real life. So what you do is, from a visualization point of view, from imaginary, you can give them house and whatever they need, like that. So this is the training process. After you come out of your meditative session in the morning, like this, in the beginning you visualize in front of one person. So after that, in the real life, when you go to your day-to-day life, you give that to a person who is actually facing these kind of difficulties. So like when you see someone in pain, you give whatever joyfulness, happiness you're enjoying, you can share with them. uh, then the same thing also, like you are also in pain. Whenever you are in pain, that's because we live in samsara. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are unhappy, right? So life is always like up and down, up and down, up and down, like that. That's very normal, very natural for samsara life. So when something bad is going on in our life, something negative thing going on, then you have to imagine, okay? You have to imagine that all the negativity, all the pain, again, you can visualize the pain of, let's say you are going through back pain, right? Let's say just one example, back pain. Then imagine all the back pain of all the sentient beings, whatever, every sentient being in the world, whatever back pain they are suffering. Uh, usually imagine that you are taking their pain. You're taking that pain as you breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe in, all the pain, all the back pain of every sentient being, you're taking like that. So this can be, different pain, not just back pain, but like loss of someone. Uh, then there are many different kind of inner pain, right? So whatever pain you are going through, let's say you are going through a very stressful moment, you are going through a big loss, whatever pain you may be going through, um, try to imagine, try to keep this practice. Think like, oh, this pain I'm going through, uh, I'm going through this like back pain or stomach pain or headache, whatever pain I'm going through, I'm actually taking all the pain of all the sentient beings into this, all right? And thinking like that, your pain will actually, there's a practical benefit is that your pain will also become minimized like that. Even if it doesn't become minimized, it's a very good practice to do bodhicitta. Mm. Oh, yeah. Now we will come into some stories from the Buddha's time and afterwards, in regards to exchange between the good, exchanging the positive and the negative, exchanging uh, my happiness with others' pain. Others' pain give to me, my my happiness I give back to you, like that. So there are some stories. So the first story actually comes from the Buddha's own lifetime. So that would be about, many thousands of years, maybe a couple million years ago. So anyway, it's during one of that is before the Shakyamuni Buddha, before he became a Buddha. Okay, so he was a very very ordinary being, just like us. Maybe even much worse than us. So he was in a very he was at that time in the hell realm. Okay, so he was in the hell realm, and in the hell realm there is a particular um, there's a particular sort of mm, how do you call it, uh, location where you have to drag a wagon, like the car, like an ox cart or a horse cart or a horse chariot, like that. So instead of horse or a cow, actually it has to be driven by human beings. So they have to drive this cart with their pull it with their put the put the, I don't know what you call that thing, on your shoulder, and then you have to drag it. It's like a human chariot. So there are two people working on that chariot. So the two person, uh, so one person is the Buddha Shakyamuni in his many previous life ago, like more than 1,000 lives before, right? So that is actually one on the one side is the Buddha Shakyamuni, on the other side is someone called Kamarupa. So that's the Buddha's friend at that time. So Kamarupa and Shakyamuni, they're both pulling the ox cart, the human cart, and as they're pulling, the cart is very very heavy. They cannot pull. So the person who is looking after overlooking everything, they started to he started to beat them, both the Buddha and Kamarupa, both of them, and then they beat like that, and they are so much in pain, they still cannot pull the cart, and so much pain like that. And then the Buddha at that time, so he's not a Buddha, of course, he was a hell being at that time. So he then felt so much pity for his friend Kamarupa. So he felt like, oh my God, this is so much painful, we are both going through so much pain, and then in order to pull that cart, we are working so hard. Despite our hard working, the guard is beating us to death. And it's true that the guard is beating me and my friend both. And my friend is in such a bad shape. Now, if I can take his pain, then at least one of us doesn't have to suffer. So he then goes to the guard and begs him, tells him that, please let him rest, Kamarupa. He feels so much first pity and then compassion for Kamarupa. And then he said, please let me pull the cart on his behalf. I will do my best to pull it, and let him rest for a few minutes or some time. And then when he said, when Buddha, the one of the previous life of the Buddha, when he said that to the guard becomes so angry, and the guard beat the Buddha, and not the Buddha that time, but Buddha's previous life. He beat him to death, like that. And then so because when the Buddha's death was caused by compassion, so the right after he was he died, then he because there was so much compassion at that time, so the compassion purified all of his negativity, because it's not like a normal compassion. It's a very, very, very strong, like a burning compassion. So it burned off all of his negativity. And right away, after he was put to death by the guard, he was born in one of the higher realms, one of the higher, the level of the heavenly realms. And so it is considered that that is the first time that the Buddha Shakyamuni has generated bodhicitta. So the first bodhicitta he generated in the hell realm. Yeah. So Shakyamuni Buddha, when he when he have the compassion for his companion, his friend, so that is considered the very, very, very first time that Buddha generated the great compassion. So in order to generate bodhicitta, the cause of the bodhicitta is great compassion, called great compassion. So the great compassion this time, because we have like small compassion all the time, right? We have compassion for our loved ones, like that. But great compassion is something that goes beyond our loved ones. It actually covers everybody, like that. So Buddha, that is the very first time the Buddha Shakyamuni, in his previous life, the very first time he generated the great compassion. So with the great compassion, when he generated the great compassion, he generated the great compassion not in the human life, not in the heaven life, but in the hell life, hell being. So that actually caused for the bodhicitta to grow in him as well, because the great compassion is the cause for great the bodhicitta as well. So right after he died from the guard's hand, he was born in the higher in a very higher form of heavenly life, and then from then onwards he decided he went on to generate many more and more bodhicittas, like that. So that is one life of the one story of the Buddha's life. How he, by exchanging one's happiness with the other's pain, one was able to have this generate the bodhicitta, like that. So another story is also that is, so again, in one of the previous life of the Buddha Shakyamuni again. So he was born that time also. He's not a Buddha yet, so he was an ordinary being, having pain and all that, like us. So in one of his previous life, he was born as the daughter. So he was okay. So I will explain. So he was born to one sea captain. Okay, a captain from the sea. The captain name is Vallabha. So he was born to the captain. He was born as the son for the captain Vallabha. So the reason, okay, so the story goes that the captain always has many sons. Every time the son is born, he dies. They die. So many, many, many times it repeated. So every time the son is born, he died. So what they decided was, I don't know if it's common in Vietnam or any other countries, but it's quite common in Tibetan culture. Like when you have a child who you have so many childbirths, your child dies often, then you actually give your child very kind of funny names, or something that is a funny name means you will give a name of a girl to a guy, to a boy. So what happened was, this is also in India. In India also they do the same thing. So the son always dies. So what the Wallaba, the merchant, the sea captain, what he did was he named his son daughter. So it's not a real daughter. So the name of the son is daughter. So his name is daughter. So he's not a real daughter, but his name is daughter because like for example, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when he was actually in his family, there has been so many childbirths. His family is a big family, but there have been so many childbirths. So many of his elder brothers and sisters, they had passed away. So what they did was, the Dalai Lama actually, when he was born, he was given a female girl's name. His name, if you remember, his name is Thamo Thundrup. Thamo is a girl's name in Tibetan. So he was given a girl's name like that. So that sometimes when you are born, in order to, like, in order to ward off those obstacles, you were given name like dog shit. That's also common in Tibetan culture. We sometimes call people dog shit or donkey shit like that. So when someone has a name like that, that means they have some misfortune in the family. And in order to stop that, then their children were given name like that. Anyway, so the name of the merchant captain's son is the son's name is daughter. So I will now we will share some story about him.
Yeah.
So Captain Wallaba, so his son, he has a son. He called him daughter, and then the son actually lived. So Captain Wallaba went back to the sea to look for more pearls and other jewels from the ocean, or the gems from the ocean, like that. And then Captain Wallaba never came back. He never returned. So when the child was growing up, he started asking his mother what my caste is. So in India, the system of caste. So caste means whatever your father does, you also follow the same thing. So the mother was afraid because all the son before him also died, and the father also died by going to the sea, like that. So the mother was afraid for the son's safety, and then the mother said, "Oh, you are the so she said, she didn't say you are a seaman. You are a sea merchant. She didn't tell him that. She told him something else. Okay, let me see what he said. Anyway, so she said his work is something different. So he did that work and he did very well. He earned a lot of money, some money, and then he gave everything to the mother. And then then some people outside told him, "Hey, you are not from this caste. You are from a different caste." And then he asked his mother again, and the mother said, "Okay, you are from that caste." So every time the mother didn't tell him the real story, because she doesn't want him to go to the sea. So she tell different story, and every time he earns more and more and come back with more and more money. And then one time, someone outside told him that you are a seaman, you are from the sea. Your father was a sea captain, and you're like that. And then he went back to his mother and said, I now have to go to the sea. I have to go because my father is a sea merchant. This is my caste, my love, this is my blood. Then the mother said, please don't go. And he didn't listen to the mother. He fight with the mother. And then the mother like pulled his clothes and then said, don't go. And then he becomes so angry with his mother. He hit his mother. He actually put his feet on his mother's head. Like, so basically he beat up his mother like that. And then he left his home and went, he said, my future, my bright future, you have always stopped when I was smaller, you always told me something small like that. And then I was not able to flex my whole potential. So right now also I'm destined to become a great sea captain, and now you're stopping my bright future. And he beat up his mother, and then he went to the sea. He went to the sea, yeah. So he went to the sea, and in the sea they actually find a lot of what they call it, the pearls and other gems. But then they actually had a very big storm, and the ship got wrecked. And as the ship got wrecked, everybody except for him, daughter, his name is daughter, right? Remember? Wallab's son, Wallaba's son. His name is daughter. So only daughter survived. Everybody else died in the sea. So he was actually able to survive, and somehow he actually got to the shore. And so he came to a place. The name of the land is called Joy. So he came to a place called Joy, and then he there in that place he found so many golds and so many like precious stones like that. And he found very beautiful uh, uh, four very beautiful girls, which are like angels. And then they served him, take care of him, look after him like that. And he said, no, he stayed for some time. And then he said, I have to go. I'll go to the south. I have more. My future is more bright, and there's something more waiting for me. And then they asked him, please don't go, please don't go. Something, if you go to the south, nothing is good. But he insisted, and he went. And then he found more gold and more beautiful things. So it went from 4 girls to 8 girls to 16 to 32. So up until 32. So there were like more and more beautiful girls, more and more wealth and like that. But he never stayed in one place. So he keep going and going and like that, like that. Mm. Mm. So like that. So he went up until a place where there were like 32 beautiful ladies and so much gold and all that. And then they also said, stay here. But he said, no, I have to go to the south. And then he went. Then he went to, uh, he he came to a place that is very scary, dark, and a scary place. And there was one guard outside, very scary looking. He was holding an iron bar, very scary looking guard and everything. Then when came to that place, then he realized, oh, that must be the place that they told me not to go. This is the most dangerous place. The danger, they always keep telling me not to go, not to go. So this must be the place he thought. But he still just went inside. And then when he went inside, he found one person uh, is a big guy, but his head his head has been pierced through, make a hole, right? Pierced through, uh, because there is a very big wheel, like the horse chariot. They have a big wheel, horse cart. They have a very
Yeah.
big wheel. So it's a very big wheel, like a horse chariot kind of big wheel, and that wheel is turning around on his head. So the point, the wheel is actually grounded on his head. So as the wheel is turning around, he his head is felt with so much pain. Um, he cannot even how do you say? Um, the pain is unimaginable. So much pain, excruciating pain. And then when daughter look around, daughter found there are many other men like this guy. Many of them are also in this much pain like that. Mm. So that guy who has a wheel turning around on his head, he said, "Why you come here? Why you so stupid? Like, why didn't you stay with the four ladies, the 8 ladies, the 16 ladies, or the 32 ladies, which has so many gold and all the pleasure of the world is there? Why didn't you enjoy that? Why you come here?" So actually, it means that everybody who come here pass through that. They never stop, and they just keep going for more out of their greed. They want better than whatever they have. They're not sufficient. They want more and more and more. So finally, they all come here. So that moment, the person asked that man asked daughter, "Why you come here?" And that moment he realized, oh, now that must be my karma. That must be my karma. He
Yeah.
thought like that. And then
Yeah.
he asked the man, why this wheel is turning on your head? Why you are suffering like that? And he said, uh, in the earlier part of my life, I actually was very bad. I was very bad to I treat my mother very badly, and I beat her up and I kick her on the head, and that was my karma like that. So when he heard that, then he knew. oh, now this must be my karma too. That's my karma is the one that pulled me here to this place. And the moment he has that realization that this is my karma, there is one declaration from the sky, like those who are bound be free, those who are free be bound, like that. And that very moment, the one who is actually has the wheel turning on his head, he got free from that. The wheel actually jumped from his head to the head of the daughter, like that. Then the and daughter come to suffer the same pain that the man is suffering. Mm. So when the wheel jumped onto daughter's head, the daughter, he was in so much pain. He was so much pain, excruciating pain, unimaginable, and I cannot express. Uh, so he was so much pain. At first, his brain started to shatter, and like that. And at the same time, when his pain is in peak, when he was going through so much pain, he actually had a moment of clarity. So he was actually able to feel so much compassion. He was actually, when he go through the pain, he was actually able to feel the pain of all the other sentient beings, all the people. So he thought like in this world, in the samsara, so many people are in pain, so many people have so much loss, so much pain, like that. And it's not just me, everybody who has so much pain in this world. So he thought, this pain that I'm going through right now, may I be able to take the pain of all the sentient beings, and then by going through this pain myself, may the pain of all sentient beings be free, like that. So when that moment, he was able to generate pure compassion, pure bodhicitta, great compassion, like that. So when the great compassion arise within him, because I told you earlier that great compassion is the best for purification. So his negativities were purified, and that what do you call that thing? The will actually was removed from his hand, and he got liberated, like that.
Yeah.
So exchanging, so because he was able to exchange his pain with others, uh, when he practiced that one with great compassion, his negativities were purified, and he got to liberated, like that. Liberated meaning not like Buddha, but like liberated from his pain. So it's said that even in the Kadamba masters, Kadamba masters means um, when the Buddha Dharma is like first introduced to Tibet, that is it's called the ancient tradition or the Nyingma tradition. And afterwards, the Buddha Dharma declined in Tibet, and after Choje Atisha revived Buddha Dharma in Tibet afterwards. So the followers of Atisha are called the Kadamba masters, and they are the forerunner of the Kagyu, Nyingma, Kagyu, Sakya, and Gelug. So Nyingma is called the ancient tradition, and then you have the Kagyu, Kagyu, Sakya, and the Gelug tradition, like that. So Kadamba, you have the Nyingma pa, then you have the Kadambas, and from the Kadambas came the Kagyu, Sakya, Nyingma, and Gelug, like Kagyu, Sakya, and Gelug, like that. So Kadamba masters is actually revered by everyone. Even in today's time, the Nyingma also revered the Kadambas as well, because Kadambas were the followers. Kadambas do not belong to one particular sect. Before, so that is actually before the Nyingma Kagyu, like that. At that time, there is no such thing as Nyingma also. So Kadamba masters is revered by everybody, all the tradition in Tibet. So those who followed the Kadamba, there were three sects: Nyingma, Sakya, Kagyu, and Gelug. And when there was Sakya, Kagyu, and Gelug, then there become two tradition like the Nyingma Pas, and then the Sakya, Kagyu, and Gelug, like that. So Kadamba is something that is followed by both Nyingma Pa, Sakya, and Kagyu, and Gelug, like that. So that is what Kadamba means. So in this regard, Kadamba is some people is a lineage in Tibet that is revered by all the traditions. So it does not belong to one particular tradition of Nyingma, Sakya, or Kagyu, like that. So there's one Kadamba master by the name of Geshe Chekawa. He's such a great scholar, learned master, like that. Um, so Geshe Chekawa one day went to see Geshe Chakshingwa. So when he went to see him, he actually, after meeting him, he saw on the pillow of Geshe Chakshingwa, there is a small piece of paper. On that piece of paper, it says, offer, in Tibetan, it says, "Kedang gega shenla pul, kyongdang pamka rangile." So basically, it means the gain and the victory I give to others, offer to others. The loss and defeat I take for myself, like that. And when Geshe Chekawa saw that letter, he was so happy. He said, "What a wonderful teaching! What a wonderful teaching!" And then he asked Geshe Chakshingwa where he learned this from. And Geshe Chakshingwa said, I learned this from, this is called the 8 verses of mind training by Geshe Langri Thangpa. And then who teach this? Who teach this? Who teach this stuff? And he said, oh, it's taught by the Geshe Langri Thangpa himself. So Geshe Langri Thangpa is a disciple of Atisha, like that. So then Geshe Chekawa, now he was determined to learn this text, 8 verses of the Langri Thangpa. And then he went to Lhasa to learn that. But when he got there, Geshe Langri Thangpa is already passed away. Yeah. So there's some story regarding the Geshe Chekawa and all this. Maybe next week I will share that. I wanted to share the story of Geshe Langri Thangpa. I will do that next week because today the time is up. So anyway, so Geshe Langri Thangpa passed away there. So he saw one Geshe Sharawa. So Geshe Chekawa learned the Langri Thangpa, the mind training on the 8 verses from Geshe Sharawa. Okay, so when he went to Sharawa actually there's a long story, but he went to Sharawa and Sharawa didn't teach that practice for a long time, and he was actually doubting. Okay, maybe he doesn't know this practice or what, but he thought maybe I should ask him. So he went to Geshe Chekawa went to Sharawa and asked him, there is a particular practice that I want to learn from you. And for the last couple years, you never teach this practice. And he asked him, okay, what do you want to learn? And then he mentioned that line from Langri Thangpa's book, which is offer victory and gain to others, take the loss and defeat to myself, like that. And he said, oh, this is my main practice. This is my main practice. And Chekawa said, can you teach me that? And he said, well, if you are ready to spend long year with me, then I will teach you. And then he said, okay, I will spend long time with you. And then this particular line is from the book called The 8 Verses of the Mind Training by Geshe Langri Thangpa. So there's only 8 verses. So that 8 verse, Geshe Sharawa teach Geshe Chekawa. So he teach him for 6 years. This is 8 verse. He learned that 8 verse for 6 years. So after 6 years with training, with practice together and everything, Geshe Chekawa was able to get rid of all negativities within himself, his afflictive mind, especially self-grasping attitude, selfishness. Everything was driven away. And then Geshe Chekawa, whenever he start teach, he said, this is the best practice. If you are sick, if you are suffering, if something is in your life, something is not going well, if negative force like evil spirit and hungry ghost or spirit and what they call the black magic, all this, whatever comes, this is the best practice to do. This practice, by doing this practice, all these small obstacles will be driven away. And he teach this like that. So this concludes today's teaching. Oh yeah. So next week we will start with Geshe Langri Thangpa's story a little bit, okay? And now we conclude today's teaching. And I shared one line in the group here. There's one line I shared with you. So you can reflect on that. This is a beautiful line. So you can reflect on that. Then until we meet next week. Yeah. So we conclude today's teaching.
Rinpoche, so next time would be the...
That will be thinking others are more important than yourself.
Yeah. So next time would be the Sunday on 11th of February. Sunday,
okay.
So it is the second day of the Vietnamese Lunar New Year.
Correct. Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we will discuss later. If you, uh, everybody is like very busy with family, gathering like that, then we can actually, you know, uh, we can actually not do the class. Maybe next week we just meet, say hello. That's also is okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
I
no,
think
no
in
need for class. Yeah. Yeah.
in the new year, if Rinpoche can do something for the new year to start
Okay.
do the new year, that would be very very nice lah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure. Sure. I
yeah,
will think of something and then let you know. Let the group
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Thank you so much
Okay.
lah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
lah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe not a long formal teaching like today, but just a
yeah,
short something for the new year. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we will do that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche lah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Now
thank
the
you so
dedication.
much.